Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Baldwin. You could really see much of their label. It was my intention to show that to you. We'll fold it a little bit here. Baldwin 2000, that's a kick plate and a 150 finish. This is a 6 by 34 inch size. While we have the packaging, I'm just going to show you the fasteners that are here. Okay, fasteners are included in a complimentary finish. And like practically everything Baldwin, this is a solid brass kick plate. And the 150 means satin nickel. That's the finish code from Baldwin for satin nickel. Satin nickel, this could be called 619. They call it 150. That's the Baldwin code for satin nickel. But you could certainly call it 619 because that's the industry's standardized code for three things. Solid brass, satin nickel finish, clear lacquer applied is what that is. And that's indeed what we have here. And also, like everything else, pretty much Baldwin, excellent fit and finish on this plate. Okay, will absolutely, of course, match all of the other 150 finishes from Baldwin. And it's probably why they use 150 as a finish code and their other 3-digit codes. And what I mean by that is if you looked at catalogs that go back to the 1920s, 1900, 1880, these catalogs, whether it be by Sargent or Yale or Corbin Russwin, other American lock and hardware manufacturers, they had their own codes for their finishes, and it wasn't until the very late 1920s until there was the beginning of a consensus to call these things standardized finishes so that your satin nickel kick plate from Baldwin would match your satin nickel lock from, Kwikset, let's say, their sister companies. Baldwin uses their 3-digit codes, and I think they do so because it's quite traditional to have your own code, number one. And it's probably from a marketing perspective that you want everything to be 150 finish and it all matches. They're not, they don't call this 619 because it's not the code that they use. And they don't call it US 15, which is the US number for satin nickel. If this deviates from satin nickel at all, the industry standardized name for satin nickel, I can't say. It looks like it's satin nickel to me. But it would be from a sense of being traditional in terms of a traditional hardware manufacturer because that's how it was done. And it might also have something to do with marketing, tying all of their product line together because you can buy locks, you can buy kick plates and door stops and other builders hardware for residential and commercial applications. And ordering it all consistently from them in that same finish is going to ensure you cohesiveness between all of the products. Would this not match a satin nickel lock from someone else? It would, absolutely. As far as I'm concerned, it would. Okay, but because finishing is a art as much as it is a science, I suppose at a micro level you'll have some variation. Now, this is a 6 by 34. Kick plates are sized height first. 6 by 34. Now, where would you use this kick plate? Well, you would use it on a door that would probably be 30. Forgive me. Yeah, we're having trouble. It would be probably 36-inch. 6 by 34. Probably a 36-inch wide door. A kick plate, before I get to that, this ought to be 50 thousandths thick. Well, let's check that as well. According to my caliper, that's 0.5 and just a hair over that. Closer to 0.50 than 0.51, so that's spot on accurate. The term kick plate, you've got different protection plates. Kick, armor, stretcher, mop plates. A kick plate is specifically installed on the push side of the door. Okay, the side, it could be the secure side, it can be the unsecure side. If the door swings in, it would be on the secure side. If it's an egress door, which swings out, it would be on the unsecure side. So a kick plate is, when the door is in the closed position, the side that you would push it open. A armor plate is the same plate, except that it is greater than 16 inch. I believe the cutoff between kick and armor is at 16 inch, or maybe it's 12 inch, I forget. But you get past a 12-inch plate, you get past that, and then now we're just going to call them armor plates. Armor plates are generally 36 or 34 tall, whatever the width would be. A mop plate is always installed on the opposite side of the door of the kick plate, and a mop plate is literally to protect the bottom of the door when that cleaning function of mopping is occurring in a hospital setting, let's say. Mop plates are always 4-inch in height. They can be 3-inch, but something 4-inch and less would be a mop plate. But they could also be a stretcher plate. Now, a stretcher plate is mounted on the push side of the door, and up in the center where the lock rail is, in that operation you'd see in a hospital of carts or stretchers or gurneys being pushed through a corridor and striking the door. So those are the 4 types of protection plates that you'll see. When it comes to fire-rated doors, your kick plate, armor, stretcher, mop does not need to have any indication visually on it of being labeled as listed, UL listed, when it does not exceed a height of 16 inch off the bottom of the door. If you go higher than that, it has to be labeled. Be mindful that if you're installing, and if you're going to put a plate on a door that's fire rated, be mindful that it cannot be higher than 16 inch from the bottom of the door. That's that's in the NFPA 80 standard, and certainly that standard is adopted probably by every building code that there is. So you've got this beautiful kick plate. There it is. Not too much else to say about it except that it's available in lots of different finishes. Everything that Baldwin can do in any other finish on hardware, they can do on a kick plate. They don't have a tremendous variety of sizes available, and I've never asked them if they can do a custom size. I would imagine that they can, but what's listed are 6x30, 6x34, 8x30, 8x34, and there you go. Now, where does the 34 come into play if it's a 36-inch door? Well, the general outline is that the kick plate is 2-inch LDW, less than door width. Assuming that you've got a 36-inch door, and let's say that you have half-inch projection on the stops or thereabouts, you'll have 35-inch or about between the stops, and a 34-inch kick plate will fit just fine in there. Generally, you'll also see it maybe 1.5 inches less than door width. And if you're installing it on the pull side, like where a mop plate would be, you might want to run that a little bit wider. So it's not uncommon and it just happened yesterday, a client ordered from me a 35-inch wide plate, and a 35.5-inch wide plate. And that's because one goes on one side, the other goes on the other side. They were clearly running those plates as long on the door as possible, just fitting it immediately between the stops. It would normally be, 1/2 inch on either side of clearance, just a rule of thumb. But he's got a wider plate on the other side. Why it was only 1/2 inch and not a full inch? It all has everything to do with the width of the stops. Maybe those stops were a 1/4 inch for some reason, just a 1/4 inch projection, and that would make sense that it would be a 1/2 inch wider if you had 1/4 inch stops. I would imagine that they can certainly do custom sizes. I don't see why not, unless they're sourcing in these plates from an OEM and they're just doing the finishing in their facility. Protect bottom of doors from scuffing. I'm reading from the catalog. Holes are spaced 6-inch on center. Most plates applied with Phillips head sheet metal screws to match. Plates are not beveled. No, they're not. There's not a swipe or a pencil bevel. There's not any sort of treatment to the edge. It's safe to run your finger over, but normally kick plates would have a beveled edge. I don't know why that is the case with Baldwin. I don't know why that their plates don't feature a bevel when everyone else's basically does. You want that at least swiped, broken. That could be how it was done 120 years ago, and Baldwin's just mimicking that. Each plate is wrapped in strong craft paper and supplied with matching fasteners. All plates, brass plates, are coated with a durable baked-on enamel to protect the finish. That was the third component of it being what it is, and a lacquer applied, a protective coating. Okay, they can do it in, I see lots of finishes here, a dozen of them for sure. So what would go along with a kick plate, of course, would be, in a residential application, would be your viewer knocker, your knocker viewer, your lock set, okay, on the your hinges, your doorstop. On the inside of the home will be your push and pull hardware. Again, door stops. Obviously, all of the lock sets on the inside. The name Baldwin is synonymous with an extremely high quality line of their estates hardware that you'll see on entry doors and in interior residential applications as well. I think Baldwin's a great choice when it comes to commercial locks or commercial applications because they have really great designs. They've got the traditional designs that you'll see in a catalog from 100 plus, 120 years ago, 140 years ago. But they have modern designs as well that would be quite elegant, in my opinion, in a very snappy look in a commercial sort of setting. So let's switch to the screen view now, and let's just show you where we have some supporting documentation. Here is the item that we are looking at. Just a generic listing. You select your finish up here, at least at this time you do. The size, the hole centers, the gauge, not beveled, the finish statement. Images seen here. Non-countersunk holes, as you can see. Nice close-up picture of the finish itself on there. Okay. Now, there's a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Baldwin products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website here, as well as links to several product catalogs, encyclopedic references, meaning the template book is here, and marketing material really also is here as well. Okay, let's wrap up this video on camera. In conclusion, a very nice quality product from Baldwin, and that goes hand in hand with their product line. Very nice quality product. Of course, very good fit, exceptional fit and finish. And also that's backed by really great technical support as well. I have said in many other videos with Baldwin how I have always been really... it's amazing how excellent they are when it comes to technical support. It's basically quite refreshing that in our industry traditional customer service exists. Many stories of calling them, and they're just great. That's the reason, in my opinion, why you invest in Baldwin initially. Baldwin occupies the area between boutique manufacturers where you will spend, and I have sold a pair of knobs that were $500. Below them, you'll have your imports, your Omnias, your MTechs, and not that everything Baldwin is domestically manufactured, but you'll have lower cost options. You'll have Schlage, you'll have Kwikset, other residential items that will fit in below there. And if you're doing a house of moderate size, yeah, sure, there'll be a price difference. Of course there will be. If you're doing a very large home, that price will just, of course, continue to go in that sort of direction. But when you consider the lock sets that you're buying for your home as an investment in the home, the ability to draw on the expertise of the manufacturer years down the road is the payoff for making that greater initial investment. And it's because I've been able to get service and support and guidance from Baldwin. They publish documents I don't have access to elsewhere. I use it personally, and those are the reasons why. If you have any questions on the Baldwin 2000 series kickplate, this one's in a satin nickel finish in a 6x34 size, or any other Baldwin product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.